Race 2 for the Britcover BRSCC National Formula Ford Championship about to head out on track here at Kirkistown. James Rowe Jr. is on pole position, followed by Jordan Dempsey and Neil McLennan in third. Here's Scott Woodwiss with the rest of the grid.
Thanks, Anthony. Here is the grid with James Rowe Jr. and Jordan Dempsey again on the front row ahead of Neil McLennan and JB Thorburn. Then Luke Cooper and Josh Smith ahead of Michael Eastwell and James Scott Murphy. Ross Martin starts 9th alongside John Ferguson. Then David MacArthur and Luke Williams back in 12th with Andrew Blair and Ben Palavoda ahead of Miles Griffiths and James E. Hagan. Then Nicky Gibson and Ashley McCullough ahead of Mark de Rosario and Ian McCullough with Ivan Mayers and Tom MacArthur back in 22nd on the grid. Then Ryan Campbell and Matt Rangarida back down in 24th. And then Nell Robertson and Keith Donegan back at the 13th row of the grid. So, here we go then. Another 15 minutes, another 26 cars. More action set here at Kirkistown for the second race of the weekend for the Britcover National Formula Ford 1600 Championship. Rowe Jr. and Dempsey on the front row. Who's going to win? Let's find out as we go racing. Good clean start from the front row. Dempsey off the line of contact already with James Rowe Jr. and that is bent front right suspension. Damage already to the front of Jordan Dempsey's car, and he's struggling in the mid-pack. Look at the red car with the right front wheel askew. The rest of the field pouring past him, somehow not making contact. And poor Jordan Dempsey was looking so well after a second place in race 1, and it comes to a screeching halt, quite literally, bangs the steering wheel in frustration. And to be quite fair, Jordan, I don't really blame you. So, James Rowe Jr. continues in the lead, somehow seemingly undamaged as the rest of the field charge up towards the chicane out of Fisherman's. Here's Neil McLennan in 5th position. Chasing after looks to be Josh Smith. Down the back straight towards the hairpin. Tucking to the inside line again. Rowe Jr. leading. It looks to be it's Jamie Thorburn going for 2nd place already. There's Neil McLennan going to the outside of what looks to be Josh Smith. Turning in also with Luke Cooper up in the mix as well, piling into the hairpin. Here comes some of the Clubland pre-90 drivers. Keith Donegan charging his way through the order, round the outside of the number 101. This is now David MacArthur who's battling through the traffic with him through the pack. Here's Jamie Thorburn chasing after leader James Rowe Jr. He missed out on a victory and had to settle for 4th, but I'm sure now he's ahead of his teammate Neil McLennan, who is stuck behind Josh Smith at this point as they turn their way through Colonial. Pretty sure that Jamie Thorburn must be looking at his best opportunity yet to score a race victory. Here's Luke Cooper in 3rd, up the inside through Fisherman, holding a nice tight line through the apex. And it's Smith in 4th, Neil McLennan in 5th, and the red car at the back of that train, that is Luke Williams. He had a poor race in race 1, but he's back to fighting fitness and he's up there towards the middle of the top 10. Back to Neil McLennan. Again, the field hugs the inside of the back straight towards the hairpin. Again, Thorburn darts to the outside. Can he be a little bit later on the brakes? Tucks back in under brakes. McLennan trying to go to the outside of what looked to be Josh Smith. Also in there with James Scott Murphy. He was trying to put an attack on Michael Eastwell whilst also defending from John Ferguson. Down the pit straight again, flashing past the pit wall, one after the other. There's James Scott Murphy defending from John Ferguson. Also, that was Keith Donegan from the back of the grid. Here comes Thorburn to the outside, down towards Colonial. But can't get himself alongside quick enough to mount a proper attack and has to sit back in 2nd place and look for an opportunity and continue to put the pressure on. Swarming this way and that. As we look from Cooper in 3rd place into the complex. Doing the right-hander at Fisherman's again. Little dab of oversteer, but he's holding it well. Then we've got Neil McLennan now under attack from Josh Smith, with Luke Williams, his fellow Firmish chassis driver. There he is, number 95. And also in there too is Ross Martin. That's number 11. Remember, he started at the back of the grid in 25th in the first race, charged his way back up to 8th. He's up in the top 10 already. That's exactly where he wants to be. Look at Cooper, outside for possibly 2nd place, holding his racing line. Under attack now from McLennan. Lock up there for Keith Donegan as he starts to chase James Scott Murphy towards the bottom of the top 10. The group getting bigger and bigger in these opening laps. Back with Cooper, across the line again. Eastwell defending from Ross Martin there in the background as we go back on board with Neil McLennan. Chasing after Luke Cooper in 4th spot. Lock up from Luke Williams as he goes up the inside of Josh Smith. He's made the move stick. And the Brands Hatch race winner is up another spot. Thorburn now for 2nd place. Almost touching the back of a number 2. Physically pushing the back of James Rowe Jr.'s car almost as they turn their way through Fisherman's. Bit of a twitch on the curb from Rowe Jr. You can tell he's pushing and potentially under pressure as well. 2 Furman cars nose to tail. Williams now ahead of Smith as we saw. Made that move sticking to Colonial. Now on board with Luke Cooper again. He's keeping a firm laser focus on the back of Jamie Thorburn swarming this way and that. He's putting himself into Rowe Junior's mirrors. He knows he's got to put him under pressure. As up the outside comes Neil McLennan for third. It's an ambitious move. Cooper's not going to give him too much room. But McLennan's got the traction. He's got the space as well. Cooper has to give it to him. And that's crucial because the next corner is Debtor's Dip on the left-hand side. It's a left-handed kick. But look at Williams and also Smith. A four-car quartet. They're almost three abreast into the Debtor's Dip corner. McLennan loses out to Williams. But Williams now shortly has to go for third into the complex at Colonial. Here comes Josh Smith around the outside. So instead of the attack, it's now defence now for Neil McLennan. He loses one place, almost loses a second, up towards Fisherman's, into the right-hander. So Luke Williams, who is a key championship rival for Neil McLennan, has picked up a spot with a brilliant pass down the pit straight, and Josh Smith almost followed him through. Back to the chicane again, using all the curb and a little bit more. Cooper in the slipstream again. He's got to try and find a way somehow to get through. Looking at his mirrors. Just behind him appears to be Luke Williams. Down into the hairpin again. Rowe Junior just moving across the middle of the track to take his line into the hairpin at the right-hander. Before they come, it is as follows. Rowe Junior, Thorburn, Cooper, Smith. Bit of a twitch from Neil McLennan. Drops the wheel onto the outside of the corner. Lost momentum. And he's dropped behind Josh Smith. I think that was possibly, there was a pass there. He's now three abreast. He's got Marston to his outside. Eastwell to his inside. He's stuck in the middle. And Eastwell wins and McLennan's off onto the grass. Neil McLennan, a key championship contender, is off and loses several places behind James Scott Murphy and Keith Donegan. What a run from Keith Donegan. He's starting towards the back of the grid. And he's charging through the order. Up into the top 10 already. A fantastic run from the young Irishman. Now McLennan's got it all to do here because he's got several places to make up. The first man he's got to try and pass is James Scott Murphy. But the leaders already tucking their way through the chicane again. Thorburn hopping over the curve at the left-hand part of the chicane. Back to Cooper. This seems to be a familiar view. He punches another gear into the gearbox. Pulls back to the sequential shift to change up. Push down, change down through the gears on the brakes again. Here comes Williams possibly to the outside for third. The line covered again, just holds a little bit tighter to fend off an attack from Williams. There's Michael Eastwell doing a superb effort in P6, and a black and white flag, track limits flag going up. I suspect that's possibly for, I can't see who it's for just yet, but we'll try and find out a little bit later on. Thorburn again putting the pressure on James Rowe Jr. Didn't have as much in the first races. Here comes that Williams to the outside of Cooper for third. There's James Scott Murphy defending from the recovering Neil McLennan. To the complex and out of it for Neil McLennan then. Charming after James Scott Murphy. Looking to the inside as here comes James Scott Murphy. Looking to try and make a pass on Keith Donegan, but there was no room at the end. Has to slide back into line. And just behind them also, that's David MacArthur having a superb run too. He's keeping in check in the top 10. Through the chicane they come once more. McLennan now in the toe. Can he possibly try and make a move here? He's sizing up the 46. Darts to the right-hand side. Can he get enough momentum to put himself alongside into the braking zone? And they're queuing up behind James Rowe Jr. as up the inside with a lock-up goes Neil McLennan. He's got it anchored up just in time. That's a superb pass again from McLennan. And up another spot. And I wonder if that's going to put James Scott Murphy under pressure now from David MacArthur. Leaders back across the line again to complete another lap. Back and forth with Cooper, watching the two leaders in front of him. And James Thorburn desperately looks this way and that to try and find some kind of avenue to get past leader James Rowe Jr. But he's putting up a stringent defence here. Bit of a twitch again of oversteer from McLennan through Colonial. There's Cooper defending into the inside here and contact in the rear. Now I think that was from Josh Smith. Cooper gets dumped out to the exit of Fisherman's. I think he's kept the engine running, but he'll shuffle all the way down the order, tumbling outside the top 10. And I think that looked to me there was contact between Cooper and Josh Smith. So Josh Smith will be third. Luke Williams will be up to fourth place, but that's a pretty keen one there for Luke Cooper. Managed to pick himself up a top 5 finish. Here comes McLennan now attacking Keith Donegan to the outside into the hairpin. Has he got enough momentum and pace? Trying to turn in. Donegan's still there. Holds the outside line. And Donegan will not give way. Donegan is not going to give way to the championship contender McLennan. James Scott Murphy back in the mix as well. He's in the slipstream of the pair of them. To the outside of Neil McLennan. He's got 2 wheels over the run at Debtor's Dip. Goes to the outside and almost runs wide onto the white line onto the grass again like he did several laps ago, but McLennan's made it stick, and here comes Scott Murphy up the inside. Almost rubbing wheels. They're side by side on the exit. James Scott Murphy runs wide onto the curb. Where's he gone? He returns back onto the track, kicking up dust as he goes. What a superb battle this is. It's only for the bottom positions in the top 10, but it doesn't matter. It's fantastic Formula 4 1600 racing, and it still proves it's a key category in motorsport to learn racecraft, to learn car setup, to learn car control, and to learn how to run in close quarters. Back up towards the hairpin again. Thorburn this time to the outside of Rowe Jr., but still, every single time into the hairpin, Rowe Jr. has it covered. And Keith Donovan goes wide on the outside, he locks up, goes too deep into the hairpin, and that's put him under attack and under threat from David McArthur as he slips past up the inside. Now Donegan won't let that settle. There's another black and white flag out. That's for a single-digit car. Again, that will be either for Josh Smith. I suspect possibly it could be for Josh Smith after the contact he made with Luke Cooper. So that could be a warning for him. As now we've got Williams now putting Michael Eastwell. In fact, that's Eastwell passing Williams. So that is now Michael Eastwell up to P4. Superb run from the Spectrum driver. Michael Eastwell getting stronger and stronger with each race as it goes past. Oh, and that's, I spoke too soon. Curse of the commentator, because Michael Eastwell goes straight on up at Fisherman's. Now, was there contact? This is the question. Did he jump or was he pushed? Can't say too much. I didn't quite see the first part, but all I saw was Eastwell's car wide to the apex. Yellow flags out that have been withdrawn, so he's managed to get the car back on the road, but lost several positions. As here comes Josh Smith trying to attack for second place on Jamie Thorburn into the hairpin, and still James Rowe Jr. will not give way. Absorbing all of this constant pressure from Jamie Thorburn. You have to say that Thorburn's certainly not letting up at all. It's now, that's Ross Martin up to P4 now. Luke Williams is now in 5th position. I think Josh Smith has dropped back a little bit. As they head into the right-hander at Colonial, through the second apex, a little wide from Luke Williams. Now we're back towards Fisherman's again. Thorburn, tighter line to the corner, little twitch of oversteer. You can tell he's pushing, and in fact that is indeed, there is now Josh Smith in 3rd place. I thought he disappeared, but he is still there in 3rd, and giving it everything. He's got some great momentum as they just attack these curves so much. It really is a fantastic circuit for Formula Ford. You can see they just ride the curves so much. It's fantastic to watch them squirming around for traction as they head down towards the hairpin. It's Ross Martin in 4, Williams 5th, McLennan in 6th position. That's been a familiar fight. Williams versus McLennan. Happened a couple of times this year. Looks like they set to lock forward once again. Down the pit straight, hugging the pit wall. All the teams and the spectators and attendants will be loving this as they're coming down the pit straight. There's Keith Donegan under attack from James Scott Murphy down the pit straight. Up towards Colonial again. Here comes to the outside for 2nd place, Josh Smith. But Jamie Thorburn will not give way. Defiantly holding in 2nd place was Jamie Thorburn, and that now brings Luke Williams in the other Firmish chassis into play now. Or Ross Martin, I should say, rather. There's so many red cars in the field, it's difficult to tell who's who. So, just to clarify, Rowe Jr. still leads. It's Thorburn in 2nd place. Then it's Josh Smith in 3rd, Ross Martin in 4th. This is another fight for 5th. Here comes McLennan, battling away with Luke Williams in the slipstream. Where's he going to go? Left or right? He's going to go to the left, to the outside. Jinks to the left-hand side of Luke Williams in the 95. Go again, and that's Rowe Jr. spinning! James Rowe Jr. spins out of the lead of the race, and that now puts Jamie Thorburn in front. What on earth happened there? Well, James Rowe Jr. was leading the race. All of a sudden, the car just went around. Was there a mechanical failure? Well, the leaders continue on. And here's the replay as things can happen, and it's the left rear. Now, that's the contact which was between Rowe Jr. and Dempsey, and I wonder, did that just knock something loose? That is a legacy of the first lap contact off the start between Rowe Jr. and Dempsey, and it's come back to haunt him. Oh, James Rowe Jr., what a heartbreak. Well, what it now means is that Jamie Thorburn is the man at lead. He's coming under almighty pressure from behind from the likes of Luke Williams and Josh Smith. Josh Smith's down to 3rd now, because it's now actually Ross Martin in 2nd place. Josh Smith 3rd. Then we've got Williams and McLennan. They're all closed up together. Constantine into the chicane, down the back straight. They're all checking up here. McLennan goes to the outside, and to the outside now. He's putting his hand up, down the straight, and that's why there's a red flag. Red flags, and that has to be for the stranded car of James Rowe Jr. So the race has been stopped prematurely. And I think what that means is that we have a brand new winner of the championship this weekend, because for the first time ever, I believe that's going to be this man, number 50, Jamie Thorburn, with his first ever race victory. And the classification, the result, it is Jamie Thorburn that wins. Ross Martin in 2nd place, Luke Williams and much deserved third place. Neil McLennan fourth, Keith Donegan, what a drive from the back of the field to fifth. For James Scott Murphy, David MacArthur, Josh Smith, Noel Robinson and Michael Eastwell. Then Tom MacArthur, John Ferguson wins post 89.
Yeah, that they're all pulling into the
Cooper,
pits now.
Margarito, Wolfenden, Blair, Griffiths, Campbell, Hagen, Gibson, Palavoda, McCullough, Rosario and Mares. What a race that was. And here's Ian Smith, coordinator, having a chat with our top three. And race winner, Jamie Thorburn.
The car was absolutely incredible in that race, but I've got to put my hands out to all the Team GBR lot. You know, they spent at least 2 weeks every single day working on this car and getting it ready, and look at it, it's looking fine, isn't it?
Yeah, well done. Do it all again later. And we have Jamie Thorburn here. Well, I'm going to guess that's your first Formula Ford race win, is it?
Yeah, first overall Formula Ford race win, and to do it over here at Kirkistown, we've never been before, and the car's been amazing all weekend, you know, just picked up the pace every day, and then we just tucked in behind James in that race and just hung on to the back of him and got the tow, and then he ran off, broke his car, and then we just sneaked through for the win, so it was perfect.